Well, hey everyone, welcome to Ludicrous Feed Live. My name is Tom. Nice to see you all here. Welcome to everyone who is watching live. I can see lots of comments already. Nice to see you all. If you're watching on replay, hello as well. Make sure you leave a comment below. And if you're listening to us on audio podcast, hello as well. Nice of you to join us. Today is Thursday, the 13th of July, 2023. We are talking Tesla and EV news as always on Ludicrous Feed Live. Let's make welcome our regular guests as always. We have, of course, Riz from Carloop, and of course, Rahul Prasad as well. Gents, nice to see you both. We'll start with Riz. How are you, Riz?
Yeah, going well, Tom. So much happening. And yeah, good to be here.
Absolutely. There's always so much happening, Riz. I always think each week, is there enough to talk about? There's too much to talk about, which is great. Rahul, how are you?
Evening, everyone. Great to be back. I did miss last week, but yeah, I was spending some quality time with the fam. So yeah, great to be back. And yeah, Riz and Tom, you both are right. You know, we get to Monday, Tuesday, we're like, we don't have enough stuff for the live stream. And yeah, come Thursday night by 9 p.m., we're like, how are we going to fit all this stuff into live stream? There's just so much that's happening in the EV world, in the EV industry. It's amazing to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, as Rahul said, we talk during the week. We have a Discord channel we share our thoughts on and our articles we want to talk about during the week for this show, and it just fills up day to day. It's just so much to chat about, which is great. It's very encouraging to see so much happening in Australia and around the world with regards to EVs. And look, Rahul, I think you've got Gaffer missing you as well. We're glad to have you back, Rahul, as I'm sure Gaffer and everyone else is as well. So great to have you back this week. Let's go whip around the audience and say hello to some of our members here. Hello, Thomas Kurtz. Nice to see you there. Gaffer, of course, getting his tea ready for a live. Peter Cook, hello from God's country. Paul says hello, all you people. Hello there. And yeah, Zubinix, good question. To be or not to be FSD in Australia? That is the question. Yeah, make sure you check out my most recent video about FSD in Australia. I'll lend you my thoughts there. Hello, Greg, as well. Nice to see you. And of course, Kevin is always joining from Florida. Yes, hello, Kevin. Nice to see you. All right. Well, yeah, lots to talk about. Oh, Charles is here too. Hey, Charles, nice to see you there. Good to see the team back. Yes, the band is back together, indeed. Hello, Kenny Timms. Nice to see you there as well. And Scotty, hello from windy Melbourne. Is it windy down there, gents?
It is. That's why my hair is the way it is.
Windswept. Love it. All right. Well, let's talk about. We've always got something to talk about for the Highland project, don't we, Jets? The Tesla Highland project, and I want to put this up here from Joel this week, who gave a nice summary of the Highland so far, what we know. So let's see. In a nutshell, Project Highland involves substantial redesigning of Tesla Model 3, but until now, nothing's confirmed what this substantial redesigning means. So let's start from the beginning. How did the Highland name originate? Well, supposedly an internal roadmap was the first ever public mention of the Highland project, along with several other code names such as Everest for Cybertruck. But the thought that went behind code naming Highland Model 3 as Highland is still speculated. Some say it came from the 1986 movie Highlander, with the famous dialogue, "There can only be one." Others say it's named after Ford's revolutionary Highland Park plant. So nothing confirmed, of course, but exterior aesthetics such as sleeker headlights. Of course, some of these pictures we've seen before on the show. There we go, some more shots of the exterior front bumper without ultrasonic sensors, so possibly vision-based, such as blind spot monitoring, improving camera, additional side cameras, sleeker side mirrors, reducing the Tesla hood branding, repositioned reverse lights are also expected. Interior-wise, possibly smart shift. Very likely the wooden dashboard is replaced. Ambient lighting also added to the cabin. Upgraded sound system. And also potentially using the revamped CATL M3P LFP 66 kilowatt hour battery instead of the 60 kilowatt hour to add another 30 miles or 50 kilometers of range so far. So when is it going to start being produced? Well, hints at Q3 2023, which is right now actually. Since we're in July. Of course, nothing confirmed. In fact, Tesla China publicly denied the statement in May 2023, and nothing was announced when Elon visited Giga Shanghai in June. So there we go. I guess that's what we know so far about the Project Highland. Riz, do we know anything more since last week?
Um, no, not a lot else this week. It's funny, like the rumors are supposed to be increasing, but they're not. The only other thing is Wuwa that does a lot of the drone footage across or around Shanghai and the Tesla plant. Still reckons they've got what GPS signal blockers and other things on, and apparently the testing is being done inside the plant and around the roads. Well, in the plant where the roads are around it in Shanghai, it's being done on the weekends. So that was also confirmed with a friend of mine in Shanghai. In the local Chinese publications are saying the same thing, that employees are stating that there is testing being done on the weekends. But once again, all of these are rumors. I think Greg makes a good asks a good question. Will it have a full hatch? Personally, I would like one. I think, Tom, you're lucky enough with the Model S to have one. You're on mute.
Thanks, Riz. Yeah, I mean, Model S has a full hatch and it's fantastic, and Model Y owners will know too. Yeah, it's very handy to fit sort of bigger parcels and things like that. Sydney EV2 says dual reverse lights, he hopes. I get told a lot one of the original Model 3 reverse lights is out. In fact, I think all Model 3 Ys currently have dual reverse lights. Rahul, I think that's correct, isn't it? Yep.
Oh, you know what? I'm always in the car in the Model Y. I just never look back of it. I'm going to check it later tonight after I finish the call.
I'm pretty sure it does. I've done a few reviews since they refreshed it. So yeah, Riz is nodding too, which is good. Peter Cook says, to be confirmed, yes, Rahul's going to go check it out for us. 3 could really use a bigger boot aperture. Yep. And there are retrofit options at the moment. And Charles confirms, yes, 2 reverse lights became standard from about Jan 2022. Thank you, Charles. That's good. Okay, so that's the Project Highland. That's what we know so far. So we'll obviously keep an eye out on things as they progress on the channel. Now, something else happened this week was that the referral program changed for Tesla as well this week, 7 July 2023. So 6 days ago, you now get 10,000 points for credits for a Model 3, Model Y new referral. Buyers get that $750 off the purchase price, and also 3 months of free autopilot as well. That's a bit of a mistake on my part on my tweet there. So it's $750 off the price of the car, and then 3 months autopilot as well. And you also get a whole bunch of new accessories you can redeem with your points too. I'm going to ask Riz this question. Do you think, Riz, the discount is going to help attract even more buyers for Teslas?
Oh, I think so. I mean, since the beginning of July, they've cut the prices by $3,500. I never promote anything about this referral code stuff, but I got a call today from someone I had emailed 4 months ago saying, I'm ready to buy a Tesla. Can you give me a referral code? And I was like, oh, I felt honored. I was like, what is this? I had to go into the app trying to find it. And then I'm like, then they're asking me, is this going to help you out, or how is it going to work? And I said, I've got no clue. So it seems to be working. It's getting people to look for the Model 3 and Y when I guess they weren't considering one. So the price cuts are already working. So now if you think about it, for someone who's about to purchase a new Tesla for the first time and they get the referral code, the car itself is at the very least $4,250 cheaper than it was 12 or 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago. So that's a significant saving. That's over 5% of the value of like a Model Y long range.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty incredible, really. And obviously, that'll help. I was going to ask you, is it going to affect used car sales as well, given the prices have dropped so much?
I think used car prices will drop again. Every time Tesla does this, it's just takes a couple of weeks. But then I'm expecting in the next couple of weeks for the Model 3s to start to come, some of them under 40 grand. And that was unheard of literally 12 months ago.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And if you happen to score a referral now, you get 10,000 points, and that's essentially the cost for redeeming a Gen 3 wall connector from the Tesla site. So, that's one way to get a free free home charger for yourself, which is pretty good. We can redeem stuff like that. All right, so that's the new Tesla referral system. And yeah, so what have we got? Some comments about that. So unfortunately, if you had made a referral prior to this date, you'll still only qualify for 2,000 points. So you need to make a new referral from 7th of July 2023. So make note of that. Yeah, so a comment here. I referred someone in the last week of June and got delivered within a few days, last business day of June. So we missed out on the discount and we missed out on additional points. So unfortunately, there'll always be sort of fringe cases like that. Sorry to hear that. And this person saved $1,000 in fuel over the past 10 weeks. That's fantastic. That's that's kind of what you can expect if you are smart with your charging. I guess you can save a lot of money in fuel. It's great. All right. Let's see, what have we got next, gents? On the chat, we've got... All right, let's put this one up here. So this is a picture of some chargers at the University of Tasmania Burnie campus, a bunch of AC units and a DC unit there, assuming 22 kilowatt chargers and a DC unit RTM. It's quite a tidy install there, lots of bollards.
Safety first.
Safety first, indeed. Yeah, look at that. It's quite a small unit, isn't it? Really, it's quite tidy. Those bollards aren't huge. It's good to be different from the big chargers that we know with the massive footprints. So yeah, good to see. Hopefully, we'll see more of these chargers around town. Rahul, of course, yourself, you rely on public chargers, not having any off-street charging.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, actually had a call from Marybeck Council today, although it was probably 4 weeks too late, about the Brunswick EV chargers that were out of action. But yeah, good on them for getting back. The chargers are now functional, and the 80 kilowatt SynXL chargers with the dual plugs are actually no longer free as they were previously. They're now being charged at 25 cents per kilowatt, which is not a bad sort of amount to be charged. But I've noticed that the chargers are less busy now. So that's a win-win. I guess we'll talk about this in a bit, but yeah, ChargeFox are going to now start looking at charging idle fees as well. I think they're starting a trial in WA. I think starting the 18th of July. Tom, might have jumped the gun a bit there, but yeah, there you go.
No, let's talk about it now. I'll put it up here. Let's see. I'll pop this tweet up from account Rob and Rob. West Australian EV charging network idle fees will commence on July the 18th. 10-minute grace period, $1 a minute. Still applies if it's the only car charging, and most importantly, plenty of signage. Only those completely oblivious to the world around them will incur idle fees. And it's quite clear that idle fees apply that signage. Please move your vehicles within 10 minutes once it has finished charging to avoid idle fees. I guess compared to the Tesla Supercharger, which is actually more generous than that, you only get charged idle fees if half the chargers or half the stalls are occupied. So in this situation, it looks like if you're the only car, you still get slugged the idle fee, and you get a bit more grace, 10 minutes versus 5 minutes for Tesla. Jen's thoughts on idle fees?
Just needs to happen quicker for some networks. And some networks need to start charging a bit more NRMA because people are not happy having to queue up and then, nearly getting into altercations at charges because there's no system and it's all free. But as Rahul suggests that even with the charger in Brunswick, as soon as you put even a small price of 25 cents a kilowatt hour, people start becoming more orderly. So the charging for chargers needs to happen, and it's good to see that ChargeFox is finally doing it. And I guess Tesla and everyone else seems to have been doing it for a long time, and that's why superchargers just work.
Yeah. Great point, Riz. I just want to jump in there quickly, Tom, and just say a couple of things. First off, I think because we've had a live stream with ChargeFox, just to remind people that ChargeFox only supply the software. They're not in control of the infrastructure. So obviously I was mistaken that the Brunswick EV Hub charges had been under the jurisdiction of ChargeFox, but obviously Marybeck Council was the one that was responsible for replacing those chargers. Now, once it had been replaced, previously they used to have 250 kilowatt chargers with dual plugs at Chatamo and CCS2, but you could only use one plug at a time. The good thing with the Cinexcel new chargers with ChargeFox is that you can use both plugs. Obviously, it means if both cars are plugged in, you go down to 40 kilowatts as opposed to 80 kilowatts as well. The fact that also charging, which is not a massive amount, considering most 50 kilowatt chargers are charging you, say, 50 cents, 45 cents per kilowatt. They're charging you 25 cents. That's great news. And now they've also put in a charging time limit as well, which is an hour, which just means that there's more charging plugs available for more cars out there, because that is a reality. We're seeing a lot of EVs on the road. The more plugs there are for more people to charge and charge as quickly as possible, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, very well said, both of you. It's great. I'm all for idle fees. 100% agree with both of you. It's the way to go. Like, you can't have people freeloading, just because it's free. What's the natural behavior? People are just going to take advantage of it, right? So, to make it fair and equitable, idle fees, so that you move on and someone else can use the plug, because it's a limited resource, and most of us either want to get back on the road, or we need to top up if we don't have that home charging to get by during the week. And I don't think it's fair. It's not too expensive. $1 a minute. It's not going to break the bank, but if you stay an hour, that's $60. You're not going to make that mistake twice. And I think we're beyond the point where we rely on etiquette and courtesy. It's becoming 8.8% in June 2023 uptake. So I think we do need a system where people move on and let others top up as well. So good to see. I think they really do need to roll out and learn from Tesla's example, that supercharging idle fees are the way to go to get people into chargers and move on as we see what's happening with Tesla's network. So well done, ChargeFox. Hopefully we'll see more chargers get idle fees, not from ChargeFox, but from other providers as well. And NRMA, if anyone's watching from there, your app is like overdue. You need to start charging literally for these chargers. It's like July 2023. Come on, you've got 5 months left in the year, so get that app going to start people charging. Start charging people.
I think we need to get NRMA on the live stream, Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, let him hear from the audience, and I think they might come to the party very quickly after that.
100%. Open invite. Definitely. I think most of the people in the comments are also agreeing with us that yes, idle fees are the way to go. Thanks for all your comments too. I'm trying to read them all. There's just so much, which is great. So we'll try and put some up here on the chat if we can. We've got some stars here. One of the comments too I saw on Twitter today was, what do you do about people who just sit there and don't plug in? They just use EV charging spots as a parking spot. That's super frustrating, right, guys?
Yeah, I think if it's an ICE car, yes, frustrating. If it's an EV car, yeah, I bite my tongue, but my God, I mean, that sets my meter right off to the red zone, put it that way.
Yeah.
What do you think, Riz?
I mean, we're going to keep this PG rated. So it's common sense, which I know is not really common these days, but yeah. I think if you're there and you're at a charger, plug in or plug off. So.
I like that. That's PG rated. That's good.
And I think just quickly to add to Riz's comment. Yeah, I think the day of or the age of where we were educating people on charging etiquette is well and truly over. There's so many EV cars on the road now. I think that's one of your responsibilities as an EV owner, to know what charging etiquette is. Charge, unplug, move as soon as you've finished, just so other people can charge.
Yep, good point.
Well, you heard it here first. As Rahul says, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh.
And that's the way it is. Rahul's our Alice Cooper. So it's happening. If you are seen at a charger and you're just parked there, just God forbid you see Rahul's car, because things are going to get serious. But I guess on a serious note, there is a component of education that needs to happen with new owners, because as we know, when we pick up a car at, let's say, Tesla, and as we're moving past the early adopters who are really keen, enthusiastic, are watching Tom's content, are on Twitter, learning off others, we're getting past that stage now. So we're getting people that are thinking electric cars are the right way to go moving forward. And they go to Tesla, they pick up the car, they are told, have a look at it. If everything's okay, drive out. So if your app's all running, you can be out of there in 10 minutes. You don't even know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be a component of sort of education, and companies like ChargeFox, NRMA, and others need to have more clearer sort of, simple 2 or 3 step little infographics on the chargers. I think ChargeFox has them on how to use the charger and how to get the ChargeFox app. Something similar to that, like an EV courtesy sort of infographics that's on some of the more popular sites that people may use on road trips, because, it's not like everyone uses public charging. Most people may not come across it unless they need to charge and they don't have off-street parking. So that education piece, I think charge point operators need to get a bit better with. And you could do it 2 ways. You could do it through the app. I know they don't want to modify their apps or anything like that, but I think there's a lot of education that can be done through the app, as well as, because people need to engage with the app to get onto the charger, and also on the charger itself. So there's a bit of education that needs to happen. And hopefully, everyone sort of learns from each other, and we're not parking in those bays.
You just reminded me, Riz, that today BP Pulse sent an email to myself and I think a lot of people saying that they're using PlugShare. It's kind of like a de facto app of, to announce things and to, like give discounts, for example, I think to their coffee provider at their what do you call it? Their cafes or their the kiosks where the forecourts are, so, or where the service stations are. So yeah, maybe PlugShare is making a resurgence as the app to go to. If it's already there, I think maybe that's the way to go, right? And that's where you can sort of give notices, education, those kind of things you mentioned about, Riz.
Yeah,
I think just quickly want to jump in there, Tom, as well, and just remind people that it's not just about the fact that you checking into PlugShare helps you, but what it does for the wider EV community, people who are looking for charging spots, the fact that they can see, and if you can leave a comment there as well while you're charging, under your charging check-in, that's fantastic, because you can actually put in, how much time you're going to be there. And that just allows people to, program or schedule their charging around that time frame as well. So as much as possible, folks, if you can, and if you don't know already and you're doing it already, fantastic. Thank you for doing it. But if you're not, but please use PlugShare, check in, let people know how long you're going to be there for. It's just going to help the wider EV community.
Yep, well said. Thanks, Paul, for $5 there. Comment, AC charging is long-term by its very nature. There simply should be more AC chargers at destinations so that idle fees are not needed. Yep, 100%. There should be, pretty much at every shopping center, accommodation, restaurants, cafes, you name it. So you can leave your car a bit longer. People, I think, naturally probably aren't as upset if an AC charger is being used, but DC chargers really should be left for DC charging only and not anything else. So good comment there, Paul. Thank you. Scotty says ChargeFox needs to disclose the owner of the charger. I think they do. I think you can see quite clearly who owns the charger, or who installed it at least. And there's always a couple of other brands as well on that charger. So have a look there if you've got an issue. Not necessarily just ChargeFox. Find out who's actually owning that charger. Good point. All right. So wow, so many comments, guys. Thank you so much. Lots of input there today. So fantastic. Try and get through some of them. Let's put on this piece here. Where are we? So this is our good friend Elliot, who is reviewing the Xpeng 6. Or he's driving it. I think he just took delivery of it, or he's just reviewing it. Rahul.
Yeah, I think it's actually been reviewed, the G6, and I think this is on their new platform as well, the new EV platform, which is obviously transferable to other models as well. So I didn't quite get to the whole video of it, but yeah, just thought I'd share that with the rest of your audience. Yeah, people would what do people think? Would they like Xpeng G6 to come to Australia? And I know Fully Charged will be back next year. Will they bring some of these Chinese cars with them to the show? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I would like to see it. We've had Elliot on the show a few times already discussing these cars, including the Shanghai Auto Show that was on recently. So who knows? Maybe Elliot will have more influence into what cars come to Australia next year for Fully Charged. Hopefully, we'll see Xpeng, Ion, more BYDs. Yeah, bring them in. Definitely. I think more affordable EVs, the better for sure. Yeah, cool. Let's have a chat. Speaking of Chinese vehicles, so we've got Tech AU tweeting about some BYD seals spotted in Mascot, New South Wales. There, so Riz, look at these more seals swimming around.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's their new delivery center that they only announced about a week or two ago. That they're currently putting together, and it should be ready by next month. So it's going to be a large pre-delivery and delivery center with just there for bulk deliveries to customers, and I guess spotting one seal. I'm not sure how many are in there. But yeah, it's good to see. It's not just the two that we've seen driving around and testing, so you can see sort of how big this site will be. So yeah, good to see them expand and sort of starting things off in Sydney.
Dare I say it's giving me Tesla vibes. A big delivery center in inner Sydney or inner Melbourne, taking Tesla's lead there. Not a bad thing. I mean, it's a more efficient way of delivering cars.
Yeah, and did I hear also that BYD have got now a showroom in Hornsby, perhaps?
Oh, yes. Yes, they do. Let me find. Here we go. Yes, so I'm not sure if this
That
is a
looks
pop.
great.
Not sure if it's a pop-up store but it does look like a physical store, doesn't it?
Yeah,
In Westfield Hornsby, yeah, which is in the north of Sydney. So yeah, that's not too far from me. I might go and have a look at that.
fantastic.
Yeah, look, that's the way to go, right? Meeting people where they are, putting not dealerships, but car showrooms in shopping centers where people are walking around. Again, taking Tesla's lead, arguably. Not a bad thing. Staying on Seal, this was shared with me during the week. Where are we? So let's put this one up here. So this was shared to me from a viewer, JE, spotted in Sydney's north. There's another shot of the Seal there on our public roads. Plateless. Someone asked me whether this is the 3.6 one. I couldn't see any badging on that particular car.
I think the wheels are also, there must be like the smaller wheels that you'd find on the base model rear wheel drive car, because the 3.8S, the top of the range variant, they've got like these little angular wheels that are quite distinct as well. And I think there's only a blue one driving around. So this silver one is sort of, I believe, is the rear wheel drive, the entry level one with 62 kilowatt hour battery instead of the 82.
Okay. Yeah, look, I think this will do well. Obviously, what we're all waiting for is the price, particularly given the Model 3 has dropped so much in price. I think we were looking at mid-50s for the Seal. I think we were talking about this price point about a month ago. But if it's mid-50s and Model 3 is under 60 with discounts, then yeah, it's going to be very close, Riz.
Well, I'm waiting for the $5,000 BYD referral program to start so that we can get that at $49,990. So yeah, my referral code is BYD RIZ for life. So if you guys are listening, $5,000 off for anyone that wants to purchase a Seal.
Where's the tattoo to go along with it, Riz? We need to see a
I'm
tattoo.
I'm going up to SeaWorld to get that one.
That's right. Mine is Tom Your Dreams 81. So yeah, make sure you use that one too. Yeah, keep them coming. Yeah, I mean, this is this is an idea for BYD Australia, right? Referral program. It's a good way to go. All right, so that's BYD, and let's talk a little bit about another Chinese brand as well. Riz, you were out this week looking at the Aura.
Yes, I was. Couldn't get a press car, so a dealer rang me to say, "Hey, 6 months ago, you left an inquiry with GWM. We've got our first one. Do you want to come and have a look and take it for a test drive?" I said, "Okay." So I took it for a 15-minute test drive. I've got to say, it surprised me at how well it drove. And given that they've just dropped the price on this car to, I think it starts at $39,990 now, plus on roads. So for under $43,000 in most states, plus there's the subsidy on top of that, it's quite well built. And there was enough space inside, enough headroom as well. One pedal driving also available. The screen was, the dual screen setup was easy to get used to. A lot of visibility, the front and the rear. The only slightly annoying thing I found is sort of as you get in the car, and around the door pillar, there's a little camera thing that looks at you. So I'm not sure what it's supposed to be looking at, or is it monitoring if I'm awake or not. But that's a bit distracting, but everything else seems to be, that camera thing.
All right. I thought that might have been an air conditioning vent. So that's a camera.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just, I don't know what that was doing, but anyway, I think it's to do with driver attention
Yeah.
monitoring or something like that. But a strange place to put that in. But apart from that, it drove well for my little 10-15 minute drive that I had with it. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at what you get for the money they're asking for, particularly given that it is an electric vehicle. And in my opinion, it drove better than the MG ZS.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if this is a EV only platform. So this is with the seats down.
Mhm.
It is a hatchback, so you can put quite a few things in there. And there's just nothing else like it on the market.
Yeah, no, good that you got to have a look at this, Riz. This is something I wouldn't mind having a look at too. I mean, how did it feel? I mean, compared to a Corolla, smaller than a Corolla?
It felt similar, but I think the spacing on the inside, the boot looked bigger.
Mhm.
The seats were good quality. I mean, a Corolla hybrid these days is around 35 grand. Sort of that's the price point for a mid-range one, and this Aura had quite a few, unique features, and interior felt nice. There were quite a few soft touch sort of elements to it. But yeah, space-wise, it's similar, but it feels bigger because it hasn't got, sort of all the things that ICE vehicles have.
Mm. Yeah, I think someone else wrote in the comments too. They were getting sort of Kia Hyundai vibes, and I'm feeling the same here. We've got the dual screens here and this center console with the knob there. Yeah, so looks good from the pictures, Riz, and by what you're saying, it sounds like it's going to be a good addition to the market.
I think where they've sort of missed the mark with this car is the lack of PR. Like, like people like you, Tom, have an audience that is really keen and supportive of EVs, and you should have been called to have a car for a week or so. And I think that's where they've missed the mark, and I don't think they'll sell too many because nobody knows it's even around.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Like, I have reached out to GWM, so if anyone's watching from there, very happy to take it for a few days or a week to really give it a good test. As you said, Riz, barely anyone knows about this car, which is a shame. Since you've given it a good review, so well, thanks for that, Riz.
No
Hopefully we'll
worries.
see one properly.
I think maybe Ludicrous Feed along with Riz need to run the launch for GW Moro for their cars. You've attended the one in Gold Coast. You guys have done a few other launches as well. I'm sure you'd be
Wow.
up to it. Let's reach out to GWM and get Ludicrous Feed involved in it.
The only thing is we don't have a great wall, so we can't really put. We haven't got anywhere we can launch it. That's the issue.
Oh, Riz, you're on fire today. Funky. Yeah, there you go. GW and Moro. Thank you. All right, so what have we got? Sorry, that's just me now. All right, so we've got some comments here. We've got so let's talk about this one. Something caught my attention here. Something about Jane Caro. I wanted to talk about that. Gaffer says, not sure who he saw the Jane Caro drama from last week.
Oh, yeah.
And charging in Canberra. She asked for help, but we tried, but dead charges. Hard to find. Only open at business hours. She was really stuck. Rahul, you heard about this, didn't you?
Yeah, I did read that tweet. I think she had a BYD out of 3, and I think she might have been going from Sydney to Canberra. And yeah, I think she got stuck with not being able to find a charger that was working. I'm not sure whether she had access to PlugShare. Obviously, I think some of the viewers or some of the people on Twitter did try and help her with comments to say, hey, if you had PlugShare, you'd know that there were AC chargers, not just DC chargers or public chargers or superchargers. And I think, I don't know whether she was trying to plug into Tesla chargers. I didn't quite get into the nitty gritty of it. But again, yeah, I think for that boomer generation, I think these are some of the challenges that they would face, owning an electric car. And I think rightly or wrongly, because I have heard this in my neighborhood, some people are unwilling to go to an electric car unless it's absolutely put on them that this is the only choice that you have, just because they're uncertain about charging infrastructure, range anxiety.
Yeah, I think this comes down to, again, education, right? I must be honest, I don't know who this person is, but I did read about what happened to her. But so again, education. So don't know who does this, whether it's the car manufacturers, the charging network. It might just be a holistic thing where we all sort of chip in a little bit, do our bit, right? It might be just down to doing a bit of homework before you step into an EV or go for a road trip in an EV, to make sure you've got contingencies. We're in the stage where we can't just rock up to a charger, or at least a non-Tesla charger, and there's still that sort of anxiety level. I certainly do anyway. When I pull up to another provider, you can sort of wonder whether it's going to work or not. But I also make sure there's something else down the road or somewhere else I can go to, or come to that charger with enough charge, just in case. Is that fair, Riz?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that it's part of it is education. Half the time, the other thing with these sort of situations is I'm not sure who that person is, but if they are, I'm assuming, famous of some, or a celebrity of some sort, then maybe they've got other agendas on the back of what this whole thing is about. But on a more positive note, I did see someone today at my workplace with a red BYD Atto 3. And, I'm a cars person, so I generally know who's driving what in the car park. And I found out the person is flying in from Perth, and BYD Atto 3 was the cheapest car they could rent from Melbourne Airport at $93 a day. And a Toyota Corolla was $127 a day. So a more expensive car is cheaper through Sixt than, a Corolla's. And it was their first experience in an EV, and they just loved it.
Yep. No, we certainly found that out from the Sixt experience I had, Riz. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper to hire a BYD than it is an ICE car at the moment. So Yeah, that's what I'd be doing if I was somewhere else. I'd be hiring a BYD to get around, and you don't have to return it with a full tank, so to speak. They're very happy to take it from you half charged or even less. So good on Sixt for having that service available. That's great. Riz, let's talk about this one. So this is your article here. The Tesla Cybertruck passes the wiggle test on snow and ice from the Driven.
Yeah, there's obviously some very dedicated people in New Zealand. My runners are worn out, but they need more than runners to stay out there in that ice and snow, and they're out there at the at the proving ground for winter testing, recording what Cybertruck's doing, and it's four-wheel drive steering, and sort of the wiggle it gets on the snow. It's really, really cool to see how well it's controlled. And you can't stage this. This is not being staged or anything like that. But just what that truck is able to do in some of those videos is quite interesting, especially when it's sort of flicked from side to side.
Wow.
And it just feels and looks so planted after they've done the little drift around. But obviously, this is all part of testing to see what it performs like in different conditions. And, not a lot of us know. I've never really been up to the snow in my Model 3 yet, but that thing would, I think, go up pretty easily. So look forward to seeing what it's like in Canada or different parts of Australia as well, where we do get some wintry conditions like these.
Yeah, look at the way it handles that. It's pretty impressive. Pretty good grip considering it's pretty icy down there. That's good.
And for a big car as well, yeah.
Very impressive. Cool. Thanks, Riz, for that. That's very good. Nice. Let's move on to a story about Hyundai Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6. Supply is improving.
Yeah, so interesting to see. They've got about 300 pre-configured cars available in different parts of Australia. Once upon a time, you used to have to jump on a Wednesday at 1 p.m. and within like 10 minutes, the website would crash and everybody got their cars, and it was a chook raffle, as it was very well described on online forums and social media. Now it's a different story, and there's another 1,000 Ioniq 5 and 6 nearly here in the next couple of weeks. So probably the best time to buy one. But it also sort of shows that supply of electric cars is there. And we are starting to see some brands discount off the back of, I guess, the Tesla news, but in general, because they can't move their cars. You can't compete with Tesla when it comes to the pricing of vehicles. So I'd say in the next couple of months, there's a potential discount or other incentives coming to move these Ioniq 5 and 6 vehicles.
Yeah, that's right, Riz. These were harder to get than Taylor Swift tickets, 6 months ago. So, yeah, good to see. And as I just put up there from Greg, Tesla would sell that many in a day. There's so many Teslas coming into the country. But whether it's a supply issue now or it's a demand issue, because they're not selling, I'm not sure. You probably know more than me, Riz.
It feels like a demand issue in general, and that's across the whole industry, right? You think about it, times are not that easy. Interest rates are going up. People are worried about the basic things. And we're not going to spend 80, 90 grand on a car that, particularly when you don't know if there is going to be any demand for it on the used car market as well. And in many ways, there's just, they could cut prices anytime. Tesla's done it and everybody knows what to expect there now. But yeah, with the Ioniqs, we're just not too sure what's going to happen. But I would say they'll be discounting. They need to move these cars.
Yeah, that's right. Tesla has made their pricing very, very attractive, and this is the flow-on effect. Comment from Charles. Tom, are you going to talk about the supercharger voting tonight? Yeah, good point. No, so Tesla every quarter do supercharging voting. So yeah, now is the time to cast your vote, I guess. So go and find a place where you would like your next supercharger in your local area. Maybe ChargeFox and EV should have the same thing, right? Where should we put our chargers locally in Australia?
I think what would be interesting with ChargeFox is, as we've sort of, as Rob came on the stream and said they don't own any of the sites, so it would be interesting to see. But they could be very creative and incentivize businesses to host chargers by saying, "Hey, we have all this demand for chargers in this particular spot, as voted by our 4,000 of our 80,000, app download people."
Yep.
Yeah.
So you should have a charger there. So, and we're going to cover 20% of the cost of that or whatever it is. But I think they need to listen to people more like Tesla is.
Yep. Really good point.
Yeah. I think one point on this as well, Tom. I think I read a tweet somewhere where somebody suggested that we could coordinate our response to voting on the supercharger locations through a central body like Tesla Owners Club of Australia, just so that we're all voting for that same location. Because obviously I think a lot of other countries and a lot of other sites and a lot of other cities have managed to get their charging locations approved, but obviously Australia's missed out. Obviously bigger country, a lot of landmass. We'd love to be able to sort of circumnavigate Australia all the way through without having to rely on, say, AC chargers or 3-phase charging, 32 amp or whatever. So it remains to be seen. But I think Riz makes a good point that we could get ChargeFox or some of the other companies on board to understand the benefits of for their customers, or what these charging locations could bring in terms of revenue, in terms of footprint. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, great idea.
Is there so Tom and Rahul, do you guys have a preferred location where, let's say you were voting for something across the board, doesn't have to be a Tesla charger, could be just a fast charger anywhere in Australia. Where would you if you could think of one location, what would you pick?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, you would think somewhere like Albury or Wodonga, right? It's a pretty busy place, and there's only 6 Tesla superchargers at the moment in that car park. So, I'm surprised there isn't any other sort of third-party providers in that car park, because that's quite a good car park. It's quite central. It's Civic Square there. ChargeFox EV, Jolt, BP, Ampol. Guys, this is where you need to go, I think.
Yeah, that's a great question, Riz. I can only speak from my personal experience. We do holiday because we've got some holiday sort of space up in South Gippsland. So around that area, there's actually not a whole heap of chargers. So, I'm talking like Wilson's Prom, Phillip Island, Leongatha, Inverloch, all these sorts of places, which is in Gippsland. That'd be fantastic to get some chargers in that area there. There's lots of AC chargers, but no sort of fast DC chargers there. So it'd be great to get something in that area.
Yep. A good question, Riz. Next wave of EV tourism, right? Hopefully ChargeFox or EV open up some sort of voting platform.
Well, if anyone's listening, I've got a suggestion as well. I would like a charger only to be operating on Saturdays and Sundays outside ScoMo's house. Because then he can really see how EVs have ruined the weekend. So if we can have one location, that would be my pick.
Maybe outside Cronulla Stadium, where he likes to go. So, good suggestion there. Thanks. Want to say a shout out to HSV Me. Hi, new to the channel. Find it interesting, so thanks. You're welcome. Interested in the panel's view on current delivery times for Tesla 3 and why? As in it's quick at the moment, isn't it? I think 1 to 2 months.
Yeah, I think it is. I've got a friend across the road who ordered in June, and they were given a delivery date of, I think, 7th to the 24th of July. and actually messaged me tonight to say, hey, we just got a message from Tesla to say that our Tesla is now ready for pickup. So they're well excited. Yeah. So yeah, delivery times are really, really quick. And I think now that second quarter is finished, I think Tesla's already started ramping up deliveries for third quarter to Australia as well, which is another tweet that I just read today somewhere.
Yeah,
That's great.
there's 3 ships already here, according to Vita. Well, on the way to Australia, according to Vita Prime. And on average, they're the East Coast ships, and on average, it's about 1,500 to 2,000 cars on each one of them. So, a matter of weeks actually now. And Rahul, you're right. The only thing I would suggest is get your friend or your neighbor to cancel their order and replace it with your referral code, so that you can get a free wall connector for your home.
That's right. And leftovers to get a bottle like this too. So
Yeah, that's right.
thanks everyone for that. This is your
I love
hard
it.
work. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good quality. Some suggestions for where to put chargers. It's great. I mean, hopefully someone from ChargeFox or EV is watching. There's so many suggestions here in the chat. Greg Wilson, Melbourne CBD. I agree with this. Last time I was in Melbourne, I couldn't believe you guys only have 4 in Richmond. Come on, 4 Tesla superchargers in Richmond.
There is one now. There is a charger at RMIT University in the middle of the city.
Excellent.
But it's only one, and I think it's 75 kilowatts. But it's probably cheaper to charge and park there than it would be to find a parking and pay for that parking. So there is one there, but we definitely need more chargers around the CBD here in Melbourne.
Yep, good suggestion. Robo charger. Yeah, portable DC charging. Yes, Greg, good comment as well. That's the next story I want to put up, actually. Again, Riz doing some great work for the Driven. So 2 new features for Model Y, Riz.
Yes, the first one is the parcel shelf. So that's the divider that sort of goes on top and hides whatever you have in the boot. Good safety feature. Also, apparently helps eliminate with some rustling noise from the back of the car because of that, the divider there. I did write this story, and then I sort of thought about it, because the only evidence we've got so far are Model Y long-range vehicles. So if anyone's picking up a standard range car built after sort of middle of May, if we could confirm whether standard range cars are getting them as well, it would be a bit silly for Tesla to put it in just the long-range cars, because generally, as we speak about their manufacturing efficiency, they would do it across the range. So just need to confirm that. But yes, that was the first one. And the second feature was the boombox feature, which means that it has pedestrian warning system as well.
Yes. I think the pedestrian warning system is a good thing. Hopefully it'll become standardized for all EVs. I must say it's quite good having that at low speed in a car park, or having an EV near you, just an extra queue, so just to look out for those vehicles. Rahul, your thoughts on having a parcel shelf in a Tesla? What do you think? Is it necessary?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Personally, I guess because I've got 2 young kids, putting in a pram there, putting in kids' equipment, just going for, say, swimming lessons or whatever, it's probably not as useful, I guess, for us. And when we're doing road trips, we've got golf clubs, we've got, kids' toys, you name it, whatever. But yeah, I can see the benefit of that, I think, from what we might have tweeted earlier today, Tom, that some of your valuables are well secured and hidden away from view, because there is a lot of that. Hey, if you've got valuable stuff out there, keep it out of sight, and that parcel shelf definitely helps. I guess the weather in Australia as well during summer with the sun, having some of your more sort of expensive items, Tom and Riz, like your camera equipment, tucked away under the parcel shelf. We'll just keep it under shade as well. Definitely helpful for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting a Model Y now because my pair of Asics and my Rolex watches need to be hidden away. Not in the glove box with the pin code, but under a parcel shelf because just more space for all the Rolexes.
And all my gold bullions too. So thank you, Rahul, for reminding me. I mean, is this a true shelf where you can actually put stuff on it? Like my Model S has got a true shelf. A lot of the cars have got a pull thing, right? That's a bit flimsy.
It is I think this is the flimsy one, and Tesla recommends not to put any load on it or not to put any weight on it. So, yeah.
So really, it's just a privacy thing because if you can't store anything on it, it's not really a shelf. It's a privacy screen in effect.
I think very light plushy toys is is as much as it would carry.
Dry cleaning.
Dry cleaning. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like I said in the tweet I made today, I'm in two minds about this. Whether I really need a parcel shelf because it's great having an open boot like that. I can put more stuff. Taller suitcases. I can get the kids to reach around and get stuff for me. As a parcel shelf, they'll just go down. They can't do it. Yeah, that's right. Make them work. So yeah, I mean, good and bad, but look, good to have that option. And yeah, good to see it improving for the Model Y over time, which is good. No word on hardware for these new deliveries, Riz?
I've heard nothing. And apparently, I think we did cover it 2 or 3 streams ago. It was not a Tesla app, or one of them created a little tool. If you put in your VIN number, it tells you whether it's expected to have hardware 4 or not, but I think only works for the US built cars, whether it's coming out of Fremont or Texas. Nothing on it yet. Some say it's to do with the shortage of the cameras, which are still, I guess, they must be ramping up the availability of them from the suppliers. I can't remember if it was Samsung or LG, one of them, but I don't think that's the case. They must be waiting could be Highland when they do that changeover, that they will include it in Model 3s and Ys around about the same time. So if they're doing it in the US, it's hopefully only a couple of weeks away out of Shanghai. So I would assume Q4 deliveries.
We'll see, hey, hopefully. Together with the Highland, yeah. Here's a good point from P2N. I think P2N's a Polestar driver, judging by the logo. Box of tissues on the parcel shelf, but it may void your warranty. A little dig there at installing accessories for Tesla. Nice. Scotty says, we took the Model Y from Melbourne to Albury with empty bottles and cans to cash in on the 10 cents. With 2 people, we managed to get 1,970 cans and bottles in there. Jeez, that's almost $200 worth of bottles. Well done. Very impressive. And Justin, sorry, the question was, do Tesla use FSD to drive the cars onto the big ships? It would save heaps of drivers going back and forth. Now, that would make a really good drone video, wouldn't it? Watching these cars FSDing.
Yes, at the moment, it's definitely people. Wuva, who records those drone flyovers, sometimes he follows the cars to the ship itself. And then, you get all these drivers that drive them up the ship, and then you see them sort of come out in those little vans. So there must be 8 or 10 of them in that same van, and they just do it all over again. And so that's why when the cars do get to Australia, generally they have about 9 to 15 kilometers on them, because they need to be driven to the jetty, onto the ship, off the ship, and the rest of it. So yeah, but one day it would be cool to have it all FSD enabled.
We'll see how much trust Tesla have in their product, eh? Speaking of people in FSD, this is quite a fun story from you, Riz, about our good friend Nash, which we should have him back on our stream very shortly when he returns from the US, if he ever returns from the US.
Wow. Looking at that photo right there, he's clearly intimidating the coppers in the US with his showcasing his full self-driving experience to them and saying this is how it's done.
Yes, so this is...
Here it is.
probably
and then double tap. And
you can't hear him, but if you get a chance, watch this video. This is him experiencing FSD for the first time, getting out of a car park in the US. And yeah, it's pretty impressive, actually. I'm actually watching more for Nash's reaction than the actual cards. That's pretty good.
We need to get Nash back on the stream just to find out how he got access to one of the. I'm not sure what he's driving there. Is it an X or a Y or a S with the yoke
X, I think.
steering wheel?
Yeah.
S
With
or
the
X.
plaid, with the FSD on it. It's insane. How's he got access to it? We need answers, you know.
I think it's easy driving him.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's well connected there in the US. So yeah, we'll definitely get him back when he returns. So stay tuned, everyone. Watch for the next few weeks when he does return. Yes, and Sydney EV. That's why we love Nash. He's got great energy. It's great, good to watch. It's good fun. Question here from Lean. Is the default color for Teslas in Australia going to be changed to midnight silver from white, just like in North America? Great question. Yeah, that became the default color in the States. So I don't know. Any word on that, Riz, at all? Do we know?
I'd say it would stay white, short to medium term. In the US, apparently it changes. Like it used to be white, and then prior to that, it was either black or something else. So for whatever reason, their paint shops, it might be something to do with the price of paint. I don't know, because it is becoming standardized, and that gray is quite nice. Well, all Tesla colors are pretty nice, but yeah, no word on it out of Shanghai. I think it will remain white until we get confirmation on what's sort of changing.
I'm pretty sure when Model 3 dropped in 2019 here in Australia, black was the default for a few months, and then white became the default ever since then. So you're right, Riz, it's probably a cost thing. It's probably cheaper now to make it silver in the States. I think Elon Musk has actually said himself paint is expensive, so we know that's on his mind. Let's whip through some of these real quick before we finish up. So we've got this is a light pole in London. It's pretty cool, right? Just an old school light pole with a Type 2 charging right there on the base. So such a simple concept.
Love it.
Yeah.
You know, why go through putting in new infrastructure, which is going to cost you money? Make use of existing infrastructure. And I think, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to put up the next slide, which is Osgrid with their chargers.
Yes, the battery. Is that the one you want me to put up? Okay,
correct.
That's a good one. Let's do this. Yeah, so Osgrid installs its first power pole mounted batteries in New South Wales. How cool is this? Just having batteries sitting up there. 60 kilowatt hour packs, I think. Ooh. So kind of like a battery community program. So if you got 3 of that, that's like 180 kilowatt hours.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. There you go, 60 kilowatt hours system. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 3. I mean, it's not a huge pack. Like, you could probably chew through that in one day once you add in EV charging and the heater's running in an average Australian home. But it's a good start, I guess, if you've got multiple poles with these on. It's a good idea. I like it. Very nice. So yeah, lots of ingenious ideas there for the community. So just moving on to chargers still. Riz, again, you're getting very busy here on the Driven. Look at all your articles here. Hope they're paying you well.
My ASICs aren't getting enough of a workout. That's what's going on. Yeah, V4 superchargers. This is the second site to open in the world, as far as we know. The first one was in Netherlands back in March. And yeah, this is the second site in France this time. And there's already a third one under construction. This one we can see there's a car there. I believe it's charging or ready to charge. It's got a canopy above the chargers. And I don't think solar's on there yet. So I like where Tesla's going with this. And then there's a drive-through charger. Just there.
There you go.
Yeah, right there. So I think Tesla, this might become their standard, because there's other sites in the US now where they have, I think there's one site somewhere in Arizona they're building where they have 80 chargers, and 4 of them, I think, are drive-through chargers. So good to see for those that are towing. And this is the 3rd site in France that's being built right now.
Close to Lyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think drive-through chargers are the way to go. People love towing towing stuff here in Australia, so makes sense, definitely. Otherwise, it's really a bit of a hassle to unhitch and then charge and then rehitch. So good to see that's taking place. It's good. Let's pop this one on. So I think we touched on this earlier. Tesla sales head for another big quarter. So Vita Prime, 3rd Australian ship on the way on the east coast of Australia. Cool.
11 days. Well, when the story was written, it was 11 days in, and 3 ships on the way on the east coast. Now west coast gets their dedicated ships, and generally there is around 500 cars on each ship to Fremantle. So these will have a few more, and as we've sort of spoken about earlier, with the $3,500 off the price since last month, and $750 of referrals credit towards that new Tesla for new owners. That's over $4,000 worth of savings on most cars before any subsidies in the states and territories where there are subsidies available.
Yeah, really amazing stuff. Rahul, remember this? Canoe Technologies. Got them being used for NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Yeah, I think I brought it up the week before last, and yeah, there you go. Obviously, they won. Obviously, I'm trying to think some sort of design award in the EV sort of category, and now the fact that NASA have jumped onto this, yeah, I love the fact that they look so unique, and NASA is adopting them as people movers for the astronauts to get from I guess the base to the shuttle base. I love the look of them. I think they do fantastic, for families of say +4. Not quite the Model X that Nash was looking for, but hey, it might be a 7-seater. He might be happy just for a little bit until he gets the Cybertruck here.
Yeah, I don't mind the shape of these. I mean, apart from the fact that I can't tell which way's front, but I like it. It's kind of like a bubble car. If it can fit lots of people, then yeah, it's great. Riz, China new energy vehicle sales up 12.41% month to month in June.
Yeah, and China reports them with battery electric as well as plug-in hybrids, but I did some calculations, and it works out that pure EV sales were nearly 23% in June, which is sort of market leading in any country. So yeah, the Chinese price wars apparently have ended, but manufacturers are still cutting prices, trying to compete with Tesla and others. But yeah, June, huge month. I think they sold 1.8 million cars in 1 month. So it's big feat, and I think that over 23% of them were pure battery electric vehicles. Just goes to show when people have options, and there's so many brands we always talk about here on the live stream, and so many options available to people. What will they do? They will buy electric cars because they're just better in nearly every way.
Yep, that's right. Congratulations to the ACT. Just registered their 5,000th electric vehicle on their roads. So good stuff. They've also got a similar tool like the New South Wales government for working out the total cost of ownership as well. So check that out as well. Cybertruck New Zealand also showing a picture of Cybertruck. I'm pretty sure it's Cybertruck. I don't recognize our shape anywhere in production. So it is happening. It's good. And Riz article again, MG slashing the price of long-range version of ZS EV as electric car price war intensifies.
Oh, as we were talking earlier about the Hyundai, getting stock in, and I guess having a lot of pre-configured stock, MG's I think has the same issue. The only point worth noting is June would have been the first month that the long range model was available to customers in Australia, even if they placed an order on it, since it was unveiled at Fully Charged in March. So I guess that same model that's just arrived, apparently people are not happy to pay up to $60,000 in some states for it.
Wow. Yeah, particularly with all the price slashes Tesla has made, right? So yeah, something to look at the
list of prices there for different states. In WA, it's like nearly $61,300 before incentives, and so this rebate is $5,000 available only to vehicles, I guess, that can be delivered before the end of this month. So they have to have the vehicle in stock or very close to getting in stock off the ship. And you have to take deliveries of it to be able to claim your $5,000 rebate from MG, and that ends at this stage at the end of July. But previously we've seen with other offerings from other manufacturers, they sort of extend on and on and on until it becomes a permanent price cut, and then so
yes, I think this might be a demand issue here rather than supply for sure. Hal, big news on the 20th. Ooh, is Hal allowed to share? Hal, keep us posted there. What's today? The 13th. So next Thursday is the 20th. We'll be streaming again. So keep us posted.
So 19th is the Tesla earnings call. In the US. So what's on the 20th?
Unless Hal's is speculating.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll summarize that next week, I'm pretty sure, on our stream. Okay. Sorry. Oh, no worries. I thought you were saying something.
No, I was just going to say, we'll be here. We'll break it live. Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll be here, definitely. Barbie goes electric with a little pink Corvette, while Ken gets an electric Hummer. Obviously, Margot Robbie is currently starring as Barbie in the theaters, and looks like she's driving an electric Corvette. Great to see that permeating into popular culture, EVs. It's good. That's good. And I think that pretty much sums up tonight's stream, everyone. Finish on that pink note. And as a public service announcement too, go after the stream, everyone go and reboot your cars, and you might get a software update, possibly. I'm not guaranteeing it, but happened today when I rebooted my Model 3. The 2023.20.7 update decided to start downloading. So just go test it out for yourselves. Maybe it'll work.
Is that the FSD beta code included on that version, Tom?
That's the one. That is the build, 11.3.6. You never know. Next Thursday, that could be it, right? Go check it out. Go try it out for yourselves, everyone. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Riz and Rahul, as always, thank you for your time. Riz, thank you.
Thanks, Tom, Rahul, and everyone. As we can see, lots happening, and as we've sort of heard, next week there may be some announcement of some sort, so we'll find out.
That's right. Thank you, Rahul.
And thank you, Tom and Riz. Great to be back. Great to see the regular EV audience here with us. Always appreciating what we do, and we appreciate you back. Love your comments. Please keep it going. Give us a like on that YouTube channel as well, just so we can get more of that new EV community into this channel and educate everyone into what's coming next, which is EVs taking over Australian roads. Keep it going, people. Love what you're doing. Great work.
Yep, 100%. Looks like Hal said it's the Q3 earnings call, also the Malaysia launch for Tesla as well. So thank you, Hal. Appreciate it. All right, everyone. Well, that's it from myself, Riz, and Rahul. And also just want to quickly remind everyone of our Saturday morning show as well that Riz and I are doing as an extra. We're calling it Weekend Extra. So We'll start nice and early on Saturday morning. If you're there, join us. Otherwise, watch on replay or listen to us on audio podcast as you can for this episode as well. So anything we missed out tonight, we will cover on Saturday. I'm sorry we couldn't get through everyone's comments, but thank you so much for all your input. It's great to hear and see all your comments, though. Very encouraging indeed, as the boys have said. So thank you very much. Until next week, everyone, take care. And as always, happy charging. Take care. Bye now.